Within the food and agriculture sector, the four solutions that are high impact solutions that have real potential to do a lot to keep carbon out of the atmosphere or pull it back down, they are conservation agriculture, a plant-forward diet, reduced food waste, and composting. So I want to give you, just as with these introductory remarks, a sense of what 1 megaton is for each of these four solutions. So for conservation agriculture, to get a megaton out of Georgia's carbon footprint, we would need an additional 1.6 million acres enrolled in conservation agriculture. For plant-forward diets to reach that threshold, we need 25% of Georgia's population to adopt that. For reduced food waste to get a megaton reduction potential, we would need a 12% reduction in the amount of food that is wasted in our state. And composting, to get to a megaton, we would need 2 million tons diverted from the landfill.
I am thoroughly excited to be part of Drawdown Georgia. There was a study that was done by UGA. It talked about the local food impact and what if Georgians ate Georgia produce. You were to eat $10 worth of produce that was created in the state of Georgia, that over a year's time is something crazy number like $21 billion will be thrown back into the Georgia economy. Well, if we have that kind of money that's circulating within inside of a community that's eating local grown vegetables, local grown fruits, local grown nuts, local grown meats, all those things, right? Then that means that the people's thought process that's inside of that area is about taking care of the land, themselves, their family, other people's family, the community as a whole. We eat junk that ends up in styrofoam, that ends up in all these other things, and then we throw that junk away, right? But if we're eating locally, which means less carbon footprint, because most of the things that we're purchasing are inside of our area, we're talking about knowing where it came from, we're talking about supporting the local economy, we're talking about building also a better food system. So by doing that locally, it then expands to the next county, the next county, the next county, all 100 and something counties, the state of Georgia. Whoa. And then we also have a model for other people to follow. And I think that that's also what I see Drawdown Georgia is doing. And I really like in there where you said, why Georgia, right? Well, the question is, why not Georgia? And if we aren't taking care of where we are as part of the solution and not part of the problem, I think that in a much greater thing, we're gonna fall apart. So where does that come from with food and agriculture? So I'm gonna use my farm as the thought process of just the things that I do. And for me, or maybe even for you, you'd be sitting back like, okay, and what does that have to do with me? But just listen to the whole process, right? And I'm gonna use composting as the litmus for pulling all these things in. So I'm sure everyone here probably that's from Georgia have heard about Georgia wild-caught shrimp and how tasty and amazing they are. Well, what do you think happens when they finish peeling those shrimp and packing those shrimp? What do they do with all of that stuff? I tell you what they do. I get 1,000 pounds of it a week of just the peels. And I bring all that out to the farm. It's frozen, big giant blocks, dump it out. I then go to Golden Isles Riding Academy, which is about a quarter mile away from me, and get their horse manure. I also have a standing conversation with any tree company that I see driving down the road. Hey, y'all need a place to get rid of that mulch because they pay to take it to the landfill. I say, give it to me. So now I'm starting to build my green manure straw, my composting system, off of 3 items that are FREE, free, right? But that would ultimately end up in a landfill and cause what? all the problems that we're on here talking about today. So just that one little thing is just me here. That's it, right? But I'm saying that life is already too short, and that we have to find some very simple things to do that are going to cause the greatest impact. So within composting, you were supposed to allow the temperature to get up. It's got to get a certain amount of heat going on, right? And if it starts to cool down, that means there's not enough oxygen going on. So you have to flip it over, right? And as you flip it over, you're adding more oxygen, you're mixing things up, and it's still doing its thing. It's still burning down, it's turning into the compost, it's turning into the compost. So if we think about our conversation today, right? This is like the beginning of getting a little messy, okay? It's the beginning of us composting. It's the beginning of us having a conversation about the things that aren't happening the way we need them to happen so that our children's children can have children, right? Because we're talking 2030. And now I need to create an action. So for me, the action is flipping the compost. For us as a group or as a unit or, Drawdown Georgia, what is going to be our next step, whether it be personal, or organization, or within a community? But we have to create some kind of action. That action is either flipping it, having a conversation about it, whatever it might happen to be. Now, the action isn't over with. It's still composting. So now you have to do it again. And then you're going to have to do it again. It's going to take a lot of action to get us to where we're going. And just like compost, it starts off messy, but when it finishes, it is the most amazing soil you will ever have. So I say to everyone that's on this call, don't stop messing with the stuff that's dirty to get us to what we need.